Benito Mussolini, an enigmatic and controversial figure in the annals of history, left an indelible mark on Italy and the world during the first half of the 20th century. In this comprehensive exploration, we will delve into the life and times of Benito Mussolini, examining his early years, political evolution, role in World War II, and the enduring legacy of fascism. Benito Amilcare Andrea Mussolini was born on July 29, 1883, in Predappio, a small town in Forlì, Italy. His family background was humble, his father being a blacksmith and his mother a schoolteacher. Despite their modest means, Mussolini's parents instilled in him a strong sense of nationalism and patriotism, values that would shape his political outlook in the years to come. His journey from a socialist journalist to the founder of fascism and the leader of Italy is a complex narrative that intertwines political maneuvering, ideological transformation, and charismatic appeal to the masses. Mussolini's early education laid the groundwork for his later political ideologies. He excelled academically, becoming involved in socialist and anti-establishment movements during his teenage years. His passion for politics led him to embrace socialist ideals, and he became a prominent figure within the Italian Socialist Party, PSI, during the early 20th century. The First World War proved to be a turning point for Mussolini. Initially, he was an anti-war activist, but as the conflict unfolded, he underwent a dramatic ideological shift. Mussolini, disillusioned with the socialist movement's pacifism, broke away from the PSI and embraced a fervent nationalism. In 1914, he founded the newspaper Il Popolo d'Italia to articulate his new vision for Italy and garner support for his nationalist and interventionist stance. The post-war period in Italy was marked by social and economic turmoil, creating fertile ground for radical political ideologies. Mussolini skillfully exploited this unrest, capitalizing on public dissatisfaction with the perceived failures of the liberal democratic system. In 1919, he founded the Fasci Italiani di Combattimento, a paramilitary organization that would serve as the precursor to the National Fascist Party, Partito Nazionale Fascista, or PNF. Fascism, as articulated by Mussolini, was a unique blend of authoritarianism, nationalism, and corporatism. Rejecting both liberal democracy and communism, Mussolini's ideology sought to establish a totalitarian state where the individual was subsumed by the collective will of the nation. The Black Shirts, as Mussolini's paramilitary followers were known, engaged in violent tactics to suppress political opponents and create an atmosphere of fear. In 1922, the March on Rome became the defining moment in Mussolini's ascent to power. Fearing a potential communist uprising, King Victor Emmanuel III invited Mussolini to form a government, effectively handing him the reins of power. Mussolini's appointment as prime minister marked the beginning of the fascist era in Italy. Once in power, Mussolini wasted no time consolidating his control. Through a combination of political maneuvering and the suppression of opposition, he transformed Italy into a one-party state. The Acerbo Law, passed in 1923, guaranteed a two-thirds majority in the Chamber of Deputies to the political party that won the most votes, providing the fascists with a significant advantage in elections. Mussolini's regime enacted sweeping social and economic reforms, including the establishment of corporate state structures that aimed to harmonize the interests of labor and capital. The Lateran Treaties of 1929 marked a key development in Mussolini's consolidation of power. These agreements, signed between the Italian government and the Vatican, recognized the independence of Vatican City and established Roman Catholicism as the state religion of Italy. Mussolini's leadership style was characterized by a charismatic and authoritarian persona. He cultivated a cult of personality that portrayed him as the embodiment of the Italian nation. Propaganda played a crucial role in shaping public perception, with Mussolini's image adorning posters, newspapers, and public spaces across the country. The Deuce, as Mussolini came to be known, implemented a totalitarian regime that permeated every aspect of Italian society. Mussolini's foreign policy was characterized by expansionist ambitions and a desire to restore Italy to its former imperial glory. In 1935, Italian forces invaded Ethiopia, seeking to establish an Italian empire in East Africa. The conquest of Ethiopia was brutal, marked by the use of chemical weapons and widespread atrocities. The international community's response to the invasion of Ethiopia was tepid, and Italy faced minimal consequences. Encouraged by this success, Mussolini sought to expand Italy's influence in Europe. In 1936, he intervened in the Spanish Civil War, supporting Francisco Franco's nationalist forces. The signing of the Pact of Steel in 1939 formalized the alliance between Italy and Nazi Germany, solidifying the Axis powers in the lead-up to World War II. As World War II erupted in 1939, Mussolini initially pursued a cautious approach, avoiding direct military involvement. However, influenced by the fall of France in 1940, he decided to join the conflict on the side of the Axis powers. By 1943, the tide of war had turned against the Axis powers. Allied forces invaded Italy, leading to the collapse of Mussolini's regime. Mussolini's downfall did not mark the end of his political career. In September 1943, German forces rescued him from captivity, and Mussolini established the Italian Social Republic in northern Italy, a puppet state under German control. As Allied forces advanced through Italy in 1945, Mussolini attempted to escape to Switzerland, but was captured by Italian partisans. On April 28, 1945, he and his mistress, Clara Petacci, were executed by firing squad. The legacy of Benito Mussolini remains highly contentious and deeply polarized. Supporters of fascism view him as a visionary leader who transformed Italy into a modern, powerful nation. However, critics condemn Mussolini as a ruthless dictator whose authoritarian regime suppressed dissent and committed numerous human rights abuses. In contemporary Italy, the legacy of Mussolini continues to be a subject of debate and reflection. Whether viewed as a visionary statesman or a despotic tyrant, his legacy continues to shape perceptions of fascism and authoritarianism in the modern